I'm glad that guy lost, man. I'm glad because I want people to learn from this. When I sit there and I break down your film and I understand your strengths and weaknesses and I pick you to win, don't go out there and be a freaking idiot. All right? Don't be an idiot. That's what he was. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode here on Locked Door MMA. We're your host. I'm Brevin, and this is my good buddy Jay Sizzle, JP. JP, how
Hey,
you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Everybody thought it was going to be boring. I guess it was boring, but we still hit a couple parlays, so I'm good, man.
Oh yeah, and we'll certainly get to those parlays in this video. We will be breaking down and giving you guys our thoughts on every single fight from UFC Fight Night Tybura versus Spivak that happened this past Saturday. But before we do, we just want to give a quick thanks to all of our viewers and all of you as our subscribers. We got up to 59 subscribers this week, so real close to that 60 mark. Let's try to hit 60 and get above that this next week. We'll try to get to 70 subs, which would be awesome. We're on our way to 100, so we just want to say thank you. Let's keep it rolling. If you haven't joined the community, please do so that we can interact every single weekend that there's a UFC card. But without further ado, let's dive in to this card recap. JP, I'll let you take it off with the first fight.
Yes, sir. A couple fights scrapped. Nascimento's fight got scrapped. That was going to be a good fight, I feel like, so I was kind of bummed about
Okay.
that. And then Gutierrez ended up getting another opponent after his first opponent pulled out, but decent card. First one, Stephanie Luciano, Talita Alencar. Luciano looked good.
Yes, Luciano looks sharp. One thing that I found when researching Luciano, and I didn't mention it in the breakdown video, but they call her Baby Rhonda. And she does look a lot like Ronda Rousey, at least like looks wise,
With
right?
good striking.
Um, yeah, not necessarily the same skill set, but they definitely look like they could be sisters at least. She came out and she struck very well. She kept her range, she stuffed the takedowns, she was very comfortable. It looked like she's finding her confidence. So that was really wonderful to see out of her. I'm excited to see what she can do moving forward, especially facing other individuals that aren't so great with the grappling side of it. I think she was a little hesitant in the striking department just because of that threat from Alencar, but she was able to manage that and then keep this fight standing and pieced her up.
Yeah, dude, I agree. I think the third round of their contender series fight is exactly what led me to thinking this is how this fight was going to go. In the third round, she figured out her range. She figured out, I mean, she had what, like a 6, 7 inch reach or something and a height advantage, something crazy like that. Um, but yeah, so the first contender series fight, she fended off the takedowns first 2 rounds, started to beat her up a little bit in the third round, and then this fight, it looked the exact same from that third round on. Luciano, beautiful stuffs. She'd evade perfect. She wouldn't overcommit to any shots. She found her distance early. Alan Carr's okay, but when you're a grappler like that, they get desperate at the end. They can't stand with you on the feet. So yeah, she looked good, man. She threw in a little Stockton slap there towards the end. I don't know if you saw that.
Very reminiscent of who else? Nate Diaz. And
Yeah,
I told you guys in that prediction video, she has a lot of similarities. She's the female version of Nate, which is cool. We like to see it. We like the charismatic attitude inside of the octagon. She was smiling, laughing. I thought it was hilarious when Alan Carr was trying to take her down. She was just laughing her ass off, like, "Yeah, she's not gonna get me down." That was fun to watch.
yeah, man.
Next fight here, first fight of the lock, and also my Brev's basic parlay. It was a dub. So before we break down this fight, JP, why don't you tell the viewers how our locks did, how the parlays did, and the money that we made off of that?
Absolutely. Boring weekend. Boring or not, we're still going to find a way to make money, baby. Zalal, he hit. We'll talk about it in a second. Barlow, he hit. That one had us a little nervous, but we had a couple big parlays hit. The juicer, off by one. We'll get to that. Brevin's basic hit. Yeah, man, it was a good night. I threw together a Chepe Spivak parlay at the end for big money. That one hit. Brevin had a four-legger on the main card. towards what was it, like halfway through the card when you were watching it? You threw that thing together. Yeah. So we had a couple big hits this weekend. It was pretty good. But Zalal and Aaron's. Hey, Brevin came out and said in the breakdown video that Aaron's is gonna come out swinging, and that boy did. Holy cow! Zalal was quick and he was good with his distance. He got out of the way, but just seeing how he was dipping back and running at times. I mean, he's aware of the power coming back at him, but you get clipped by one of those, it's dangerous. But then all of a sudden, Zalal quick, hit a couple leg kicks and then sweeped around the back, got the back early, and then it wasn't even really under the chin. It's more like a neck crank, but man, he tapped quick. Zalal, huge win, dude.
Yeah, very big win for Zalal. Another big win and call for our locks. I mean, we've been near perfect, so that's something to look out for moving forward. But like you said, Aaron's came out swinging. I knew he would. The way that Zalal was kind of responding had me a little worried at
Oh
first.
yeah.
It was just it looked weird being the viewer. I think he was being coached to get out of there whenever he was up against the cage, and in order to do that, he would literally just take off sprinting, which from the visual point of view isn't always a great sign. But he was never really in danger from the punches. He was just looking funny trying to evade them, ultimately got the back, locked in a super tight body triangle, which was absolutely crushing to watch. I was like, man, I can feel the pressure that's being put on Aaron's right now as I'm sitting at home. Like that thing was tight. Which is why he was able to stay on the back as Aaron stood up and then got that neck crank to get the job done. Good win for Zalal. I know he was cut from the UFC and was brought back into the UFC. He's kind of been on a little bit of a tear since, so excited to see where he goes from here.
I mean, absolutely, dude. He came out and fought Billy Q. Looked great in that fight, and then comes out and gets a first round sub. I'm excited for him, man. He looked good. Got me hype. And then going into this next one, looking for a knockout, didn't happen. But Joe Nata Ho Nata, I still don't know how to say his name correctly. D's nuts versus Carl Williams. How'd you feel about
Brother, I felt terrible.
it?
Carl Williams, I was messaging JP. Carl Williams decided to go out there and kickbox a kickboxer. I don't know when that became a very strong game plan, but whoever's in his corner coaching this guy needs to get cut right away, get fired, find a new camp. I mean, if you go watch film on Carl Williams, you'll see suplexes, you'll see great wrestling, you'll see just constant pressure. This guy didn't look like himself whatsoever. I don't know if Denise has bricks for hands, which some would say he does, but I still didn't believe it. I still don't believe it to this day. But Carl Williams looked absolutely atrocious. He never fully shot for a takedown attempt. He never got in close. And it was just a story of let's kickbox the kickboxer and get outstruck the entire fight. You saw it in the third round at the very end. Carl Williams was able to get in the clinch, get a takedown, and absolutely control Joe Nata, which would have been the story of the fight if Carl Williams wasn't brain dead. So that was the story of the fight. Jonata was able to piece him up, landed some big strikes in the first round. Good on him. That's a good win.
Yeah, this was the one where again we talked about how I preach all this other shit about taking the wrestler, and then I pick Joe Nata. I don't know. I just had a feeling Carl Williams is just again, and me and Brevin were talking when we were messaging back, and we came to the conclusion we every time we need to just tell ourselves that IQ is gonna trump everything you do in the fight. Like Carl Williams showed you in the third round, you could take him down, and then on the ground, Joe Nata is just trying to survive. Granted, he's probably looking up at the clock saying, "Whatever, I won the other two rounds," and he probably accepted it. I mean, you put him on his back in the middle of the octagon, in the middle of the first round, middle of the second round. Is he gonna get up? Probably not. He's probably not gonna work his way to the fence and scoot up. So, I mean, I don't understand. Like Brevin said, at no point did you fully commit to shooting a takedown, doing a double leg like he normally does. Bro, half the time he runs at people and like tackles them. Basically, is what we're talking about leading up to the fight. Nothing on that. Granted, he did get clipped a couple times, but he also clipped Joe Nata in that exchange.
Yep.
I don't know. He fought like shit. From the moment he got clipped those first two times in the first round, that might have been where all the IQ points went out the window.
Yeah, it was very interesting to watch. I mean, like you said, he usually will just pressure, sprint at people, get a takedown, and control them and out wrestle them. He only did that at the very end of the third round. And guess what? It worked. That should have been the game plan from the minute the bell rang in the first round to the final horn in the third round, and it just wasn't. I don't know. They sat there and the announcers were like, "Yeah, Carl Williams said he's been working on his striking in camp." What in the hell are we doing? I get work on your striking, get better, but don't make that the damn game plan against a better striker. It makes no sense. That's when my that's when my card kind of went to crap right there on the second fight of the night, but that's all right.
Third fight.
I made up for it. Third fight of the night. I made up for it later in the card.
True. That is very true. Yes, you did. Yeah, I agree with like. Yeah, you can work on your striking, maybe your striking defense, but
Yep.
you're not gonna
Use
outstrike
your
a
strengths,
striker
man.
who's been doing this for years, brother. Like, come on.
Yeah, I have a lot more I could say about that, but for the sake of this video, I'm gonna move us along here. Next fight, Carol Rosa versus Pani Kianzad. This fight went exactly how JP and I told you guys it would. It was fun to watch, beautiful to watch. Rosa's looking pretty damn sharp. JP, what were your thoughts on how this fight played out?
um, I have way more respect for Rosa and Irene Aldana because of the fight that they had, and then watching. I have respect for Kianzad too. I don't know how the fudge nugget she is still standing at the end of this fight. She's not gonna be able to walk for a couple weeks because holy shit, her lead leg, her left leg, is battered, dude. Rosa looks sharp. Rosa looks good. Her and Irene Aldana went to war, and the same thing was happening. I think Rosa's got a bright future. I love her striking. I mean, she's so technical. The kind of Muay Thai stance that she has, she shoots those kicks out there. She's very accurate with her straight punches. They're not these looping punches. They're not these hammer fist left hands. Danny Barlow, you bum. Yeah, she looked great, bro.
Yeah, 100% agree. I think a lot of fighters in the UFC right now could utilize watching Carol Rosa tape, watching film on how she puts these combinations together. She won't just leg kick, guys. That's what you got to understand. She'll lead out with the jab, with the overhand right, and then finish the combination up with the leg kick. It gets the opponent defending and leaving their legs susceptible. It's beautiful to watch. Whenever guys are just throwing leg kicks without anything in front of them, they're getting checked. They're getting blocked. They're whiffing. No, she throws a beautiful combination and always follows it up with a leg kick. The biggest difference between the Irene Aldana fight and this fight for Rosa is she switched from kicking the thigh to the calf.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people can take some pretty bad punishment to the thigh, which Aldina did. It was clear and obvious. The whole thing was purple, but she was still able to stand. You took 70 of those. If I promise you, if you take 70 calf kicks, you're going down. You won't be able to walk. That's what we saw on Saturday. It was beautiful. That's great coaching for Rosa. They told her instead of aiming for the thigh, aim for the calf, get it done. It was beautiful. She's gonna be back up there in championship contention. So keep an eye out for her.
100%, dude. They were, yeah, gorgeous stand up. Gorgeous stand up. And the thud on those kicks, Kianzad would try to
Yep.
return them a couple times, but they just were not landing the same, dude. It was unreal. This next one really broke my heart. I thought it was the week. Ladies and gentlemen, I thought it was the week. We were flying high. I was like, there's no way I'm not sweeping this main card. Boom. Next fight humbles me. Toshiomi Kazama, Charlampos Gregorio.
Yeah. Interesting fight. I think one of the key takeaways from this is one, Kazama still doesn't have a chin, like we saw. He was getting pieced up on the feet. Gregorio probably should have put him away and won by KO, like we predicted. Two, Gregorio is a pussy. I'm just going to come out and say it. This guy tapped to the weakest triangle I've ever seen in my life. It wasn't tight. It was very, very loose. Okay. Gregorio is buns. And honestly, you need to toughen up, dude. You're an MMA fighter. You fight in the UFC. That wasn't tight. Honestly, you don't deserve to be in the UFC after that performance. It was horrible to watch. And Kazama needs to work on his striking. He's buns too. Either way, it cost us a big call. I had Gregorio and some parlays. I know many of you guys out there did as well, and it
Screwed the
really kind of
juicer.
ruined that. It ruined it. It ruined it. But on Kanzama, I mean, he stayed in it. He stayed fighting, trying to find positions, and then ultimately locked up the triangle. But Gregorio had no business getting into his guard in the first place. Stand him up. You just pieced him up. You knocked him down. He was out on his feet. Stand back up. It's IQ over everything. We say this every freaking week, and it is just abysmal to me. I can't even wrap my head around it, what these guys are thinking in the midst of the fight. You understand your strengths, your weaknesses. Horrible. Horrible from Gregorio. If I was his coach, we would be freaking undefeated right now. He deserves that loss because he's buns.
I don't get it. I don't get it. Like first round, it is what it is. You fought your way through the first round. Okay, he sprinted at you, grabbed you, you stayed out of trouble. Whatever. Come out in the second round. Avoid the first barrage because all this dude wants to do is sprint at you and sniff nuts. Okay, shoot for crotch. He's crotch hugging. So you avoid that. Then you clip him, and like Brevin said, you put him on his back. He flatlined him on his back, and then you jump in his guard and start doing these wild. What are you doing? What are you doing? He clearly wants to be on the ground. Just back up and tell the ref to stand him up. He's going to stand up all wobbly, and now you take your time. If he wants to shoot for you again, just keep space. Keep a knee ready. I just don't get it. I don't get it. Moron.
100%. 100%. That's how you lose fights. That's how you lose contracts. That's how you get cut from the UFC. You got low fight IQ. You see the difference in the guys that understand and get it versus the guys that don't. Yeah. I mean, I'm glad that guy lost, man. I'm glad because I want people to learn from this. When I sit there and I break down your film and I understand your strengths and weaknesses and I pick you to win, don't go out there and be a freaking idiot. All right? Don't be an idiot. That's what he was. All right, enough of that. But speaking of idiots, next fight. Yana Santos versus Chelsea Chandler. We both picked Chelsea Chandler, the underdog. I told you to go put some money on it, and I was going to put some money in, and I did. I promise you I did. And we lost. We lost. We lost. JP, what were your thoughts?
Good for Santos. She looked good. Chandler's an idiot. I hate Chandler. She's terrible. Oh my god, she's so god awful. I just don't even know what to say. She's not good at anything anywhere. She's just. I mean, you know when you see these things on TikTok about people who see red when they get in a fight? I think she's one of those people. Okay. I get mad and I see red and I just shut up. You're trash. You got outworked. Santos in great shape. She came in great shape. She looked good. Good for her. Kicks look good.
She did.
I'm over it.
She did. Yeah, Chelsea Chandler, game plan should have been to wrestle. You can out wrestle Santos. You're the better wrestler there. You didn't do it. You're similar to Carter Williams. We're in the small cage. I don't know what's going on through these people's heads. I really don't, guys. Chandler deserved to lose that fight because she can't strike. We've seen that before. She freaking runs around like a chicken with her head cut off. All right, and then she doesn't decide to wrestle. Misses weight by like 5 freaking pounds. Jesus,
Oh my god,
what are we?
everybody missed weight, dude.
What is going on,
Holy
guys?
shit.
What is going on? This is a freaking professional business, all right? You guys are professionals. Get it together. Seriously, they should honestly up the punishment for missing weight. I don't know if these guys don't care. I don't know if they've just gotten complacent, if they're just trying to cheat to get a freaking victory, but it's just ridiculous, all right? And I don't know. Chelsea Chandler must have she would have had to miss weight by like 50 pounds to even have a chance in this fight. She looked terrible. All right, and she honestly kind of looked like she did miss weight by 50 pounds, if I'm just being
Oh
honest.
my.
But good for Santos, man. She did look sharp after not fighting for a while.
Oh man. Let's move on. I'm over it, dude. Bum. Chris Gutierrez, Quang Lee, the late addition to the card. We picked Chris. What'd you think?
Yeah, a couple things. Lee looked okay. Lee looked okay.
Not too bad.
Stepping in short notice, was supposed to be on the contender series. You get thrown into the octagon with a guy like Gutierrez, can't even pronounce his name. But Chris did look good. I mean, he's known for his leg kicks. He's going to try to piece you up. Um, he got out grappled a little bit by Lee. Unfortunately, Lee wasn't able to do enough in that department. I say unfortunately just because I'm pulling for the guy down the road. I had a good feeling that Gutierrez was going to get this one done. It's kind of a lot for a first time UFC fight for Lee. And I wish him the best. It's an outing. I think Gutierrez really needed to get him out of there. So that's why I'm not happy with Gutierrez's performance. But that's why I'm more, congratulating Lee for holding his own. But good call from us. That's another W in the win column there.
Yeah, I said fraud check in the TikTok. Not really. Not really. Quang Lee hung in there. Chris is just a phenomenal point fighter, and it's just not enjoyable to watch. I think this is the first point fighter Quang Lee's probably fought that style, just trying to outlast you and touch you a little bit from the outside, and that's about it. But yeah, Lee's not bad. I'd like to see him in there against the other comp. I think he was game 29, 28 all across the board, so not terrible. But yeah, we picked Gutierrez. He was a heavy favorite. He looked okay. I'm not excited to see any Chris Gutierrez fights after this, really.
100%. But I did hear that Lee had a four-fight contract that they signed him to, so we will see him in the octagon again, and that's good on him. I'm glad that he's going to get another chance to show what he has. And then maybe he comes back and fights Gutierrez again. Who knows? Next fight, the other piece of the lock here, Danny Barlow versus Nikolai Veretennikov. JP, I know you were pretty unhappy with the results, even though we still got the W. It's okay for us to be unhappy. We expect things to go a certain way. What were your thoughts on how this played out?
Um, man, I mean, first of all, Veretinnikov didn't even know where the octagon was when he came out. Dude's sitting on the barricade and waiting for him to move it. Hey, bud, it's over here. Um, Barlow looked like shit, if I'm being honest. I mean, Veretinnikov. The one thing that irritated the shit out of me about Veretinnikov is he keeps throwing his hands up. He keeps like waving him forward. Brother, if you don't think he's doing anything, guess what? You've done even less. So what are we talking about? This is a classic case of two counter strikers that are waiting for the other to go first. If you're going to complain that the other guy's not going first so you can counter him, you're doing the exact same thing he's doing. You guys have both had the same game plan. Shut the hell up. In the clinch, they both looked pretty even, pretty strong. There was a certain point, I think it was in the second round, where they were just in the clinch, just pummeling for underhooks and like going in a circle for like 3 minutes. I mean, bring a whole new definition to the man's dance. Sure. Barlow's left hand from God was a hammer fist smack type thing from his long left hand. What? Okay. I don't know. It was pretty boring. We hit the lock. I put money on him to knock him out. I thought he would be better. I think this shows that Barlow, to progress, to be this knockout artist that he wants to be. I mean, you gotta learn how to go first. You gotta learn how to go first. You gotta learn how to be accurate. Stop throwing these slapping. Oh my god, I hated it. I hated every second of it, bro. But whatever. Locks hit. Undefeated on locks still. That's all that matters.
The lock hit, but the fight was disappointing. I also have money on Danny Barlow to win by KO. He definitely looked to not really fulfill the role that we thought he would inside of the UFC. So Nikolai, you got to give some credit to him stepping up on short notice, going to split decision with Danny Barlow. And really that fight probably could have gone either way because JP said, it was just boring. They were both just looking to counter. It was nothing strung together, no great combinations. I thought Danny Barlow would have his foot on the gas pedal, get him out of there. Must be the Carlos Johnson haircut that he had going on,
God, I
that made
hated
him
that
lose
too.
all of his powers. That's just ugly, man. It's just ugly, guys. If you are considering copying that hairstyle, please don't. For your sake and for the others around you in your life, please just don't do it. It's not worth it. It's so ugly. All right, I'm done talking about it. I'm glad the lock hit. We'll get you a better lock this coming card because that one was a little bit too close for comfort. If you were on the Nikolai side, maybe you were happy with how he fought and how the fight went, and you thought you had a chance. So that's good on you. All those on the Danny Barlow side, sorry that you had to sit through that and kind of sweat. It just wasn't. pretty ugly performance from Danny, so
Terrible.
not a fan
Nikolai
anymore.
went to split decision with Danny and the barricade, okay? But he did come out with a win over that barricade. Um anyways, co-main, pretty entertaining after a boring fight. Damon new hairline Jackson. Breaking news this weekend versus Chepe Mariscal.
Yes, I gave you guys the breaking news on TikTok, on Instagram, everywhere that you could find it, everywhere that you get your UFC news. This guy had hair. Raymond Jackson got new hair. I think he went to Turkey, got some hair transplant going on. It was night and day difference, but it still didn't help him out in the octagon because Chepe Mariscal looked very, very good. Very active. The pressure was there, and these judo throws were beautiful. They'd be in the clinch, and he just hip toss him over his shoulder onto the mat into half guard. It was beautiful to watch. It wasn't even a close fight. Chepe was just beating him up. I think he could have got the finish if he stood up and laid some bombs down on Damon Jackson, but Damon Jackson survived. It just was never anything where I felt like Chepe was in trouble. So he's certainly looking the part. I think he's trying to find himself inside the UFC, and I definitely think he's coming into his own inside of the organization. So keep an eye out for Chepe moving forward.
Yeah, man, Chepe looked good. Like you said, I'm surprised that Damon Jackson made it through the fight. Even at the end when Chepe was grounded pound, he stopped
Yep.
for like 2 seconds. I think those 2 seconds might have stopped it because Damon was. I mean, boy went to Turkey, got some new hair, and then he just got it beat it off him. Because holy
Yeah, he
cow,
did.
his scalp's gonna be all cut up, all bruised up. Dude got dude got his ass beat for 2 rounds, I'd say, with that ground and pound. Chepe's ground and pound. Chepe's scrambles, his reversals. He was in a terrible spot where he tried to take the back and then got his back taken. Damon's looking for a rear naked. Boom. Turns into him, switch,
Yep.
reversal. Now he's on top, starts beating his ass again. Chepe looked good, man. Very good.
Yeah, that I was actually going to talk about that because that was pretty beautiful, and you don't see that a lot. I mean,
Mm-mm.
Damon Jackson, he is a submission specialist, and that's exactly where he wanted that fight. Chepe easily just took that arm, swept it, reversed the position. Now he was in full mount there for a second, then in
Yeah.
full guard, I think. But it was really fun to watch Chepe kind of work in those positions and work out of those positions as well. So good
He,
on him, man.
he looked good, dude.
All right, now the main event of the evening, Sergey Spivak beats Marcin Tybura. Wasn't a long fight. I was pretty surprised on how quick it went down. What were your thoughts on how that fight played out?
Crazy happy. Like I told you guys, the juicer didn't hit, but a couple other bets hit. So I took that money, I turned it around, threw it on Chepe and Spivak. So I was going crazy. Huge hit. Spivak looked great, dude. I think it played out exactly how we thought it was going to. I didn't know dude was gonna pull armbar. And, I mean, for a
Right.
heavyweight to pull an armbar from full guard where he was at, holy shit, that was impressive, dude. And it wasn't even a tap; it was a verbal tap, because I think he
Yep.
hyperextended his elbow or something. It was that deep. Like that was gorgeous by Sergey.
Yep.
Um, yeah, like we said, I think Tybura got to him at the right time in both of their careers. But now I think Spivak, he's younger, he's better, he's making his way up. I think we've seen Tybura's ceiling, and I think Spivak's ceiling just we haven't seen yet. And he's better, and he beat him. Gorgeous by Sergey. Gorgeous.
Oh yeah. Yep. It definitely saved my bets on Saturday. Spivak um definitely came through for your boy. Uh it was fun to watch. I wasn't expecting the sub. I wasn't expecting the arm bar at that, and it certainly happened quick. And then to see Tibura have to verbally tap because of how fast it was happening, he didn't even have the time to tap with his other hand. Maybe it was locked up a little bit. I'm not sure. I'd have to go back and watch it, but anytime you see a verbal tap, it's kind of impressive because Spivak threw it up quick. It happened really fast. Blink of an eye, boom, armbar was locked in tight, and that thing was getting cranked on. So, like JP said, Tybura caught Spivak at the right time in their first fight. Spivak came back, looked like a different version of himself. I'm excited to see what he can do inside of the heavyweight division, especially against some of these guys that aren't great wrestlers, aren't great with defending the submissions. Spivak could have an opportunity to really work his way up this division. So I'm happy for him. I'm really happy for him.
100%, dude. He looked great. I mean, yeah, just the armbar pull was just. I knew he was looking for it, but I was like, I've never seen a guy this big do this. And whoop, real quick. I was like, oh shit, that was damn impressive. So big hits there. Records. I went 8-2. Brevin went 7-3. Pretty good overall. Well, I think it's a couple weeks now straight where we've had big parlay hits and stuff. Came out big last weekend with the Nurmagomedov card, and then this one. So come on, baby, better jump on.
Come on. We're rolling. Jump on the train. Don't miss out. We're making money every single week and we're paying the bills. Like my brother said in the comments the other day, free money. Free money, easy money.
It's free
Get your
money.
money now.
Get your money
All right.
now.
If you made it this far in the video, make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button, leave a comment, like the video, interact with us. If you have questions that you want us to answer in the following video, just leave that comment and we will discuss your topic, either address it at you or just talk about it in general. Whatever you guys want, just leave that comment down below. And we appreciate you guys every single weekend, interacting with us, leaving the comments and we hope to continue to build this community as big as we possibly can. I know JP and I are just going to continue to put out this great content for you guys. So if you aren't subscribed, make sure to go ahead and do that. But JP, I'll hand it over to you to take us home.
Yeah, like Brevin said earlier, appreciate everybody on this journey so far. At 59 subs right now. Let's aim for 70 before 305 goes down that Saturday morning. We hope to be at 70, but thank you guys for being here, for watching it. It's free money, baby. I haven't lost on the locks yet, brother. Come on now. But as always, ladies and gentlemen, it was a pleasure. Bingo, bango, baby. Peace.